Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Self-Gov. Today we're coming live from the Baron. This is in Four Ways, Leaping Frog. They were kind to accommodate us.
Yes.
So super happy to be here. And as usual, I'm not alone. I have the gang, Miss Cosmo.
What up? How you doing?
Good. You're going through the most, right?
Hey, it's the pains of December, but we're in. I'm alive and I'm here. That's what matters.
She's Decembering hard.
Yo.
She really is.
Rockstar.
Yeah.
And then I have Sechaba.
Shoot.
What up, sir?
Nah, I'm good, bro. Yourself?
Good.
I'm
But
well,
Shabile
thank you.
Scorpion, that's
Yeah?
Scorpion Kings.
Yeah.
Standard procedure. Though.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Yeah, we didn't see each other last week. A lot happened. You're fine now, right?
I am better. To be fair, I think it was just like fatigue coming in with
Got you.
and the weather as well because of the rain. I did get caught in the rain a couple of times last week, so I think that also kind of affected me a little bit. So I was just badly coughing. But I'm fine. It's not like I had a fever or anything. I just think my throat was just acting up, to be fair.
What,
And I probably just needed to sleep also.
were you dancing in the rain or something?
No, man. It's just like, you get caught up. You're either running from one place to another place and then all of a sudden it's raining. All of a sudden it stops raining.
And if it
like,
gets
you
you
just
here-
don't plan it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Cosmo,
then-
how jolly? I know how to Shiana. How jolly?
I thought we left this conversation in 2025. We might revisit it in 2026 when I no longer want to rock anymore. But give me my last December first before you lock me into a date.
So you know what I said off air? I said to her that I actually found somebody
Okay.
for her
For the blind date.
for the blind date.
Apparently that's my excursion.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm going on a blind
okay.
date.
It needs to happen, eh?
It needs to happen,
Because
eh?
you've been saying it needs to happen.
Yeah, so that's a project for 2026.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. So, wait, let me just have my last December, and then we'll
No,
start.
you'll-
We'll start the year off nice and fresh.
Yeah,
You'll still be able to December hard. It's just a date.
right?
It's just a date.
Yeah, but what if I fall in love? Then it's awkward. Now I'm in love in December. That's not a real thing. We don't need that. We don't need that.
Speaking of being in love, I'm actually curious. How are you when you are in love?
Oh man, I think I'm like every other girl. I'm a lover girl, just like most girls are. I mean, yes, I know I have like a tough exterior, but I definitely soften up when I get into a relationship. Yeah, and I'm there and I take care of my person. My love languages are generally like acts of service and things like that. So for me, I'm fully in
Yeah, Baba.
when I believe in the person. But you dare give me a reason not to trust you. You're gonna regret it.
Days of our lives.
You're
bro.
gonna
Yeah, no,
regret it.
You do look like the type.
Yeah. No, and I don't have time for those things. Fool me once. A second time. Sorry, we're not doing it again.
Yeah.
But it's also because I've also experienced so many like different experiences with different people who show you different sides of themselves. You also realize that a lot of people are very selfish inherently. So you'll turn a blind eye to like one thing and then there'll be another thing and you're like, okay. So I'm not in the business of being a clown. Thank you very much. The circus is not here. So if those are your plans, leave
Stay
me out of
away.
it. Yeah, thank you.
Did you hear that, guys? Stay away. So, like when you guys log on to your music apps, there's like this Wrapped
Yes.
thing that's going on.
Spotify Wrapped and Apple Music Replay.
Yeah. I thought to myself before we actually get into the conversation that we should do a 2025 Wrapped
Okay.
for our personal lives.
Okay.
Yeah.
Seji?
Maybe you can start.
Bruh, like that's literally what I was thinking driving here.
Yeah.
I'm like, for some reason, this time of the year for me, I don't know, for lack of a better expression, it's not necessarily my favorite time of the year. Mainly because of that. Mainly because of Wrapped, And it's not to say anything bad or anything sour. It's just that reflection for me is just like, it pulls me in, And it's not like something that makes me want to go crazy or whatever the case might be, Not to say I don't celebrate it during this time of the year.
Yeah.
But just those real conversations and like actually think about it. Like with the rap thing, you will say, oh, you played the song a lot. Maybe it's a big heartbreak song. Maybe it's a heartbreak song or it's a groove song.
Yeah.
Or a worship song, whatever the case might be. But it's just one of those times for me, man, where I just like look in, internalize everything, try and see how I can restructure certain things and all of that. So it comes with a lot of emotion. It
Yeah.
comes
I
with
see.
it
Yeah.
comes with a lot of like investing in those things that I'm actually thinking about. Jabo. So yeah, it's really yeah.
Touch and go.
Touch and go, man. It's a touch and go. It's a catch-22. You look at everything holistically.
Yeah.
Because that ain't your guy minutes from Jan or whenever. But they do it mid year now. But yeah, man, for me it's just one of those times where I'm like, you know what, I'm reflecting. So when the year starts or next month,
Yeah.
for the first time actually for me, it doesn't even feel like I'm going into a new year. It's like next month. you know?
Just rolling over.
Just rolling over. But so that I can get the year going. I don't want to be having these conversations with myself in Jan. Like so I can prepare. I can better prepare for whatever it is that I have planned for myself or whatever. So yeah, it is that type of time for me.
Yeah.
10-4, catch-22, touch and go.
Got you.
Yeah.
What
What
would you-
highlights for you?
I was about to ask the same.
Sorry.
Highlights. I mean, for me, my love life, man. Like my yeah, it's one of the grandest things that I came into this year having already planned that this year I have intentions of doing 1, 2, 3. And the Lord was just like, And for me, actually, I had thought we would only be able to carry on with the wedding celebrations next year, or whatever the case might be, and everything just unfolded this year. You know?
Yeah.
So that for me it's a highlight. It's one of my major highlights. And career also just had other openings in different things that I didn't even foresee. Like you see what this whole thing of planning. Yes, you plan, and then it's just
God decides.
God decides. But yeah, I think professionally and lovically,
Lovely Kali.
Love you.
Yes, well, that's
Kali.
amazing.
lovically, those are like the highlights I can think of. And yeah.
Dope.
Gosh.
Geez, if I were to wrap up my year, I started off on a very downward slope. Emotionally, I was in a very bad space. Spiritually, I was also in a bad space. Financially, I was in a bad space. So everything was just weird at the beginning of this year. I do think it's gotten better. Now that I'm in December, I'm feeling a little bit better. I'm feeling a little bit stronger. And I'm feeling a little bit more positive than what I felt coming into this year. Because I think at the top of the year, I was very much like, the world is against me. Everything sucks. Why is this happening? But I think now I'm a little bit more in touch with myself. I'm holding myself accountable. I'm also showing up a little bit more for myself, whereas I think the latter part of last year was kind of floating. So I am definitely in a position where I'm moving closer towards fixing a lot of issues that I started the year on.
Yeah.
And I think next year it's going to make it even better because I think now I'm laying a foundation that I can then build on in the beginning of next year. So, I mean, good and bad. Obviously, there were tears, but there was also a lot of laughing and, I mean, look, we started Self-CAV, which is a good thing because I haven't podcasted in over a year and a half, I think. The last episode of Podcast was January 2023. If I'm not mistaken. So I think also just getting back behind the mic is a new thing for me. And I'm excited about it because we're also talking about different things. It's helping me open up and for people to see me in a different light and not just box me as the hip-hop chick.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I'm excited about that. I'm working on projects for next year, working on new music. So I think I'm in that.
Oh.
I'm in more of a creative space now than what I was in the beginning of this year. If you had asked me about music in January, I would have been like, hell no, it's not happening. But at least now I'm back in the, okay, let's figure it out. Let's see how, even if I'm doing it slowly, but at least I'm moving towards it. You know what I mean? So I'm happy about
There's
that.
motion. Yeah. Dude, for me, it's 2025 has been a challenging year. I've been stretched mentally, physically. I think the biggest one financially. Because when you think about it, 3 major projects that I had to look into in 2025, and that was opening the studio. I opened the studio into 2025. Which required a lot of capital. Getting married, my goodness. And then...
You guys are like, yeah, I love this hand, but wow, I'm broke now.
I'm like,
Yeah, but I'm broke now.
and then school. School, I think, that really, really stretched me. And when people ask me nowadays, like, how are you? I'm like, I'm only now starting to be centered. I'm only now starting to. I feel like I'm tapping into myself. You know, which is really really important. But I mean, even with that, like, I think it's been a decent year. I always say, when God blesses us, right? We never say, why us? Why me, Lord? Why me? You know what I mean? So I've learned that even when tough things happen in my life, not to question a lot, not to complain. Sure, like I'm human, and being a believer doesn't take me away from the human experience. So there will be moments where I'm just like, yo, like you, like, yo, the world is against me. But I think just going back to your anchor every single time to say, hey, everything is for my development. Everything is for my refinement. And that's how I've sort of like looked at life this year.
Yeah, man. I feel like, honestly speaking, this has been the most adult, demanding year of my life. Like, honestly speaking, like, even the whole term, like, that this child came this year. Like, who tuned that this child, you know, and it's just like, there's a lot that came with responsibility this year, you know, and with also what you're saying about the highs and the lows. Not being present in most of those
Yeah,
things,
dude.
you know, like just being responsive to what's the need in that moment. I go there, I go there, I make sure that I'm present, whatever the case might be. But only now, that's why for me it's such a, like, there's so many emotions right now, because now I'm only getting back to when this happened in March, when that happened in July, when this happened in Wabo, trying to make sense of it all, because this year it's like 4,000 kilometers per hour, you know, and like just being, even if you take a take a bump, you just have to show up into the next thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, man, I get talk a like ngare,
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a
Yeah, yeah.
it's been a year.
I want to ask you guys about a personal win that you did not celebrate loud enough.
A personal
Win.
this year.
Yeah. Because I think in the noise, like, a lot of things happen. But because you're so focused on getting this and that done, you forget about like a lot of things, even the good things that are happening. To your point, you're only now starting to
Yeah.
like reflect on those things.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know how personal this might be, but for me, 2 years ago I lost my aunt, Wabo. And I just made it, and I've always been like, I get busy, I get on. Like, the one thing after her passing, I was just like, if only I could just go to lunch with her, because she'd always be like, hey, let's go for lunch, and I'm just like, "Ish, ka shoot, ish, Wabo." So I just made it a vow to myself to be like, I'm gonna be more present in any or whatever. I'm just gonna make sure that I'm present. You know, like, that's what I'm saying. Well, I don't know how personal it is, but this year I made sure, bruh. Like, I put family over, like, literally, I prioritized family, I prioritized anything that I had to. And if gigi thing, I never try a gig. You know, if there was anything that has to be prioritized professionally, I would just be like, I also want the opportunity. I really appreciate the opportunity, but I just wanna show up better. You know, on Sunday my cousin was dedicating his son, who's like 10 months old now, Wabo. And even that could have easily been something that I missed because maybe I have a commitment, Wabo. But just showing up there, I remember when we were at the church, I was literally just saying, thank you, Lord, for allowing me or giving me the privilege to actually do support the people that I say I love, or at least the ones that I believe I want to show up for, and they're my people. So for me, it's that, bro, showing up. Like, that's a personal W that I took from this year, or like I'm carrying with me, because I don't want it to stop. There was a time when work was everything, bro. You know, and it's that mentality, like it's like just that thing, to a point where even my family, every time they would call, the first thing they ask, "Ubizi, wabo?" And I was like, no, man. You know, like, I just didn't want to associate myself with the busyness, or like because it is a blessing at the end of the day, but just I didn't want to disassociate myself with the real things that matter for me. So yeah, showing up for sure.
That's beautiful. I think also just showing up, especially because sometimes we get so busy, we don't realize that we're sacrificing, like you're saying, family time. So shout outs to you for that. I think for me, I've always kind of made sure, even if I'm there for 10 minutes, as long as I've made the effort to arrive and you see me, I did want to be here, even though I still have to go, but I'm here. I think that also sometimes goes a long way, you know what I mean, with family. So shout outs.
Dope.
A personal win for me, I would say maybe getting myself back into therapy. And I say that because I think as humans sometimes we forget that we're also carrying so much on our shoulders, and so just to have an outlet to kind of just like let it out, I think was very important to me. I have been in therapy before. Then my therapist had to move away. She went to Dubai. I was heartbroken about that, but I was okay. Also, when she left, I think I was also at that point. I was like, okay, actually, I'll be fine. And then last year happened, and I was like, actually, I need I need to find a new person. And for me, it's a personal win purely because I do think I take on a lot. I take on a lot of responsibility. I take on a lot of other people's emotions. Also, because I'm an empath, I also hold other people's emotions quite hectically as well. And I'm there for my friends. I'm there for my family. I'm there for everybody who's kind of there around me. And I always try to put myself forward for them, but I never show up for myself. So I think for me, actually choosing to then say, no, I need this for me because I need to at least have something that I have for me to fix myself and to be better. I think that was a personal win for me. So I'm happy that I was able to at least do that for myself. And I'm feeling better. Another personal win, which also kind of ties in with therapy, is I've also been a lot more diligent and consistent with the gym. Because, you know, you can pay for the gym and then the year goes by and you've gained weight instead of losing it. So a personal win for me, I think definitely being more consistent. So much so that I'm not too sure if you know on Discovery where they give you like the vitality points for your working out.
Yeah.
I reached my maximum where I couldn't earn any more points. Sure. And that's the first time that's ever happened to me. I've had vitality for maybe about 5 years. This is the first time I've ever reached the cap where they're like, we can't give you any more points because you've clocked enough for the year. I was like, actually...
that's
Shout
cool.
out.
Shout out.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely pouring a lot more into myself, and that's what I'm trying to do.
High Rocks next year.
I'm thinking about it. I've been saying no, but I'm considering it.
Ne?
Do you know what the thing is about High Rocks? Why I don't want to do it? I can do the workout. It's that 1 kilometer in between.
That's
the only thing that's killing me right now.
Do it.
But I think I might push myself to do it next year.
Do it.
I'll see.
It's wild. High Rocks is wild.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, what a strange concept.
60% running, dude.
Dog, that 1 kilometer after everything.
It's painful.
I even think it's more than that, in all honesty, because I was watching Awulala, and I'm just like, there's no way this is 1 kilometer, because you have to circle that thing twice, right? And then you go to the next station. Yeah. It could be maybe 1.5 kilometer.
I don't know. It depends on how they measure it. Because generally speaking, if you do like a track is generally 400 meters if you go all the way around. So if they're circling it twice, that would be 800. So if it's big enough, maybe it's 500 one, and then the other 500.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But it's wild. It's but I think you should go.
I'll think about it.
Support.
The thing is also, I think I'm also just trying to believe in myself a little bit more. Yeah. So because my consistency increased this year, I might do it next year.
Got you.
But I would not have been able to do it if it was me last year. I was going to die.
That's interesting. Yeah. I think for me, personal win is how the Bible says, if you refresh others, you will be refreshed. Right? I think me plowing into people's spiritual journeys, I think that's been like the biggest thing. Having to see other people grow spiritually. I think that's the one thing that I've appreciated this year. And that's the one thing that I could dab a personal win. I want to start getting into therapy as well. I always say, Cosmo, you came in here, right? When you left your house, you looked at yourself in the mirror. Probably when you got out of the car as well, you looked at yourself in the mirror. But ever since you sat here, you don't know how you look, right? And when you think about it, we don't have a 360 of ourselves. Like we have so many blind spots, right? And I like to ask this question. It's a question I also posed to my home cell members that, what is it like to be on the other side of me? And it's a very tough question to ask, because people will tell you the truth. And in that moment, you might want to be like defensive, etc. But it's like, no, don't be defensive. Just listen to what people are saying. So because we don't have a 360 of ourselves, and because we have like blind spots, I think there's areas in my life where I could improve if I spoke to somebody. And I think that's why I want to invest in therapy. Also because my wife, we always like debrief her sessions. We don't get into detail as to what happened. It's just sort of like a highlight. And like every time she shares, I see how light-hearted she feels afterwards. Right? And I'm like, and she's always encouraging it as well, to say, this has been my experience. I think you might love it. So that's one thing that I want to tap into getting into 2026, having a therapist.
I'm a big believer in therapy. I think everybody should be in therapy. And it's not to say that everybody's got problems, or everybody does have problems the sense of like day-to-day struggles. You know what I mean? It's not for crazy people. It's generally a place where you can speak freely and not feel judgment. And that's why I insist on people going to therapy, just so that you've also got an outlet. Because just as much as you've got your partner who you live with and you experience life with, but there's some things that you keep from them because you're also trying to make sure that you doing your part by looking after the household. So you don't want to burden them with whatever's stressing you at that point, because you don't want that to be a point of contention where you guys are stressed now together. Where it's like, okay, cool, you've got this outlet where you just want to talk it out. You're not saying they must give you answers. You're just saying, I just want to let it out of my system. Just to say, I've said it and I'm crying about it and I've dealt with it. Okay, sharp. Now let's go back to the drawing board. Sometimes that's generally what therapy is. It's a place where you can articulate what you're feeling, get it out of your system, feel better about yourself. You'll probably find a solution when you walk out of there because you've let it out verbally. You know what I mean? So that's why for me, I always advocate for therapy, because at least it's an opportunity for you to be able to say the things that you feel like you can't say to your parents or your partner or your best friend or whatever the case is.
I also think therapy is a biblical principle. Why do I say that? We confess to God, right? Us confessing to God gives us forgiveness. But the Bible also encourages us to confess to our fellow beings. And that's where healing comes in. So I think it's also like a biblical principle that people need to look into.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes, sir.
No, I definitely look into it, man. Like,
Sechaba's like, I miss me, I don't know.
No. I'm just saying, like, honestly speaking, the things that you guys are saying, like, I think for me, when I actually started caring about therapy as a concept was about a year or two ago. So for me to actually practice it, and it hasn't been something I knew about.
Yeah.
Because I remember there was a time, bro, when 2014 something, a friend of mine passed, and it was suggested that we go see therapy because we're still in school. Bruh, that man, that guy we went to see there by therapy, that guy could have just told me he doesn't want to do it. But my experience he wasn't what I thought it would be. He was so casual about it, and he was so nonchalant about it. Even his follow-up wasn't, what can I say? He didn't care, man. That man. He didn't say that. And then that was my first ever experience with therapy. But to know of therapy as this tool was through like people that I listened to, other podcasts or other like people that I look up to, or other people who have been to therapy. People like yourself who actually do shine a light on therapy. So now I'm saying I haven't really exposed myself to those avenues and be like, let me actually go for a session, or let me go for, I don't know, I don't even know how it works. So is it like gym membership or like?
I mean, generally speaking, I believe that you also need to test the process, and the first person might not be the best person for you. Because I've also had an experience with one therapist where I was like, this thing is not working. But I knew I needed it. I just couldn't get it from him. I needed somebody who's a little bit more conversational, so that we can have that chat. Because there's some people who just sit there and they listen to you, and then you walk out of there and you're just like, Okay, I feel like I spoke to a wall. Do you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
So I think it's important to also understand what works for you as a person.
Yeah.
And so you might test out a few people, but it's the same as any other thing. I mean, the same way you'll test out a doctor, the same way you'll test out a trainer, the same
A
way you'll test
barber.
out a barber. You will change it
pair of
up
shoes.
until you find the person who fits for you. And I think people just need to be open to that.
Yeah.
Don't block it off because the first experience sucks. Try the next person and see if that fits
Yeah,
better.
yeah.
You know?
I think it's important to find somebody who's relatable as well.
Yes.
Because the first time I went to therapy, it was a white old woman.
Yeah.
But also how it happened.
Karen.
Yeah?
Get a current.
Yeah, something like that. How it happened, right? I was attacked. I was leaving. I just finished my show. This is when I was still on air at OFM. I literally just left the studio. I'm driving home. And then I stopped at the car. I mean, at the garage. And then a fight ensued between myself and these three Afrikaner guys. And yeah, it literally just became rough, you know. And then my boss, my manager, found out about the fight. And then he said, listen, we're going to pay for your sessions. Go to therapy because you might just now, you know, bottle this and it might turn into something. And then I went to therapy. It was a white old woman, like I said, probably not like the best experience. It was nice talking to her, but I think there were a lot of things that we did not connect on. You know, and I think that's why I never went back. But every time I allow myself to be present enough when people talk about their experiences with therapy, and I'm like, oh, okay. So it's actually a good thing. And I think for me also, the thing is I'm very curious about my emotions. So if I feel like, if something happens and I feel some type of way about it, like I'm really curious about it. Like, why do I feel like that? But I think I've never taken the next step to say, okay, let me go like to a professional
Yeah.
and converse about
Yeah.
these emotions that I'm curious about. Yeah.
I do think relatability is very important in the process as well, because, and it's not to be prejudiced or whatever the case may be. It's just a matter of fact. You are more likely to be able to get proper feedback and guidance from somebody who's been in your shoes. So you as a black South African man who has just gone through lobola, whatever the case is, you can't speak about lobola to a white woman who's never been through the process. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's easier for you to be able to relate to a black South African man who can also then speak from the perspective of a black South African man,
100%.
as opposed to going to somebody who is completely off the radar. And that's why, for me, even when I had to look for a therapist, I definitely look for a female, and I look for a black female because I want to be able to say, have you been in your shoes and this? They can also share their experiences, and sometimes you learn things from that as well. So I think relatability is a very big factor as well. You need to also try and you know, tap into that. If it works for you to work with other races, that's also fine, because maybe that's your personality. I just think sometimes it helps to have somebody who's in a similar position as you, where they'll be able to then speak from that perspective.
Yeah.
You might also respect their feedback because of that as well.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes. All right. What's popping? Let's get into that. Thank you for sharing, guys. Cotton Fest.
How, guys?
You?
How, guys? Ricardo.
I don't get it, bro.
Nazi namhlaza. Iralang.
Yeah, this one is not it, Shem.
Hi, Kona.
This one.
So I think let me read this. This is from a
What's the name?
news outlet. It says differences among shareholders see the end of Cotton Fest. So the organizers of Cotton Fest have announced the festival has come to an end after running for 7 years.
I was waiting for the 10-year anniversary
Like,
for people to celebrate and be like, we did it
dude.
for Ricky, we did
Like,
this for the culture, we
like-
did it to the top. Awa.
So disputes arose after the announcement of the 2026 festival on social media earlier this year. Shareholders no longer share the same long-term vision, which challenges the standards and vision set out by its sole founder, Ricky Rick, who died in February 2022. Cotton Fest has always been rooted in creativity, community, and cultural celebration, focused on creating a platform for the youth to shine. This is the widow, Ricky Rick's wife, right? Bianca. And I'm just like, come on, guys. I'm sure like a conversation could have really combated this.
Clearly, they've had many conversations and they've just not worked out in the way that they needed them to work. I mean, I remember speaking to Bianca right after Ricky passed, and she had mentioned that no, she actually sat down, she spoke to Ricky, like they had a full conversation before, what had happened to him. And he literally had laid out a blueprint to say, this is how you can run this thing for the next 10 years. Just follow my blueprint. Cotton Fest is in your hands. You guys can do this thing. We're going to be good. But now, over the years, I've also realized and experienced it even from my perspective. Because obviously I had a really good relationship with Ricky, so he would always like call me up to say, hey, can you come rock, whatever. Whatever he asked for, I was there. You see it over the years after Ricky is no longer there, that the people who he maintained were important for the festival were no longer getting put on the line.
100%.
And please don't take it to a point you're going to mean complain. No. Sometimes I'm also okay. Like I'm of the idea, because I've also hosted events, I also understand that lineups need to change, right? You can't have the same thing every year, otherwise it feels a little monotonous. So it's not like I wanted to be on every single lineup. No. I was okay on the years that I wasn't booked, and I'm happy about that because it needs to grow, right? But also grow with the same foundation of what Ricky wanted it to be. It was supposed to be a platform for young kids to be able to elevate themselves, especially young hip-hop kids who didn't have an opportunity from other places.
Yeah.
And now it just felt like the lineup was completely changing. The people in charge were also making their own weird decisions. It was just getting a little out of control.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit sad because I don't think this is what Ricky wanted. But you know what? All we can do is respect the decision to say, you know what? Before we mess up the legacy, let's just. Because it can get like that. Because the last thing we want is for us to sit back and be like, Cotton Fest is not the same. No, I don't want to waste my money on going to Cotton Fest. People are sad because they actually still enjoyed the festival. Do you know what I mean?
Ish. You see, even for me, like, I think the first time I felt some type of way about it, as a festival go, I love going to festivals. And that one was unique in its own right, like in its own way or whatever. You've been there, you haven't been there, whether you've seen it on socials or whatever the case. But the first one for me that kind of felt, was the 2023 one. Not sure if that was the first one that Ricky missed, but 2023.
Yeah.
So usually there's like a stage, right, for the up and coming and whatever. It was reserved for a different genre, and that's when for me I was like, wait, what are we doing? Because we there to cover. I wasn't like there for vibes. I was covering. So you'll be told main stage. I don't remember what was sponsoring at the time. Or was it Red Bull or something? But what stage? That was for the reserve for up and coming. But this time it was a completely different genre. And then the up and coming were in this
Dungeon.
Yeah,
at the bottom. I know that floor.
Yeah,
I was there.
where
yes.
it's like we didn't even know until like Boma to 9 at night.
Yeah.
Just as about Kespa was about to go in, and we're like, okay, what's going on? And then last year, the same thing happened. Jonung last year, whereas the lineup was just, it was a lot. You see, so for me, I just felt like it changed the feel of the event. So I get what you're saying about. It's one thing to cry about it, to say, it was no longer the same, but also, what's the point of it still continuing if it's no longer offering its audience what it did? Because it was meant to have a different experience. That was what it was supposed to do anyway. I understand. So for me, man, I feel like it's sad. Now that you put it into perspective that it was about to be a 10-year anniversary, it's like...
I don't agree with the sentiment of what's the point?
Of?
Like what you said, what's the point of it continuing, right? If all these things are happening. My thing is, guys, it's about the bigger picture at the end of the day. Yesterday, my wife and I, we have this thing called Morning Fellowship. Because I'm of the opinion that December, if you want to do anything that's spiritual, anything that ties into self-development, whatever the case may be, you have to be super, super intentional because it's a time where everybody's having fun. So we literally schedule everything on Microsoft Teams. There's a community page there where we write everything down that we're supposed to do, our check-ins, our morning fellowships, etc. So we had one yesterday, and we started reading the book of Acts, right? We started with chapters 1 to 3. And I'm just going to paraphrase it real quick. Peter is talking about Judas. We all know the story of Judas. He betrays Jesus, blah, blah, blah. He's part of the 12 disciples, right? But now he killed himself. He hung himself, right? Because he betrayed Jesus. And Peter talks about how that position has to be fulfilled. So they have to pick somebody, right? So when we were reading that, I then wrote down in my notebook, The Show Goes On. The Show Goes On is a song by this group called Bruce. I don't know if it's a group or a person, but it's Bruce Hornsby or something like that. When I first listened to that song, it was a tribute to the late Eddie Zondi, to say, hey, this guy, he was massive. You know, he's somebody that we all listened to, and he's dead. And I remember it was Wilson Bienkosi during that tribute, right? And he played that song and he said, listen, even with what's happening right now, the show goes on. You know, we must carry his legacy, etc. And I believe the same thing needs to happen with Cotton Fest, right? Ricky's not here. You can imagine Bianca and the children are left alone, right? This is a legacy for them, and that is the bigger picture. And I feel like sometimes egos just come into play, and it's like, dude, come on. Like this, I believe, and I know you said clearly they've been having conversations. I honestly believe this could have been sorted out. I think egos just came in and clashed, and they moved away from the bigger picture. And I think oftentimes people just, what they do is they just sweep the bigger picture under the carpet, and it's like, no, we don't care about that. Because we're not being heard, because we're not being listened to, we're not going to care about this. And also, like you said, that Ricky Rick would always call you up and say, yo, come and rock. I honestly believe that our purpose is always tied to people, right? You're making a very valid point there. To say if the people that were really NB, like really important, if once they started being ostracized, maybe then the show started to dip and it started to lose its essence and so on and so forth. I would have said, guys, let's go back to the drawing board. This is bigger than me. It's bigger than you. It's bigger than you. It's 7 years in. Are we going to just throw it away because we're not agreeing? Like, surely we can sit down, look at the bigger picture, go back to the drawing board and say, okay, what is working? What's not working? It's like me saying right now, okay, Lala, like, you're not washing dishes the way I want you to wash them. I don't think I want to be in this marriage anymore. Like, I think it's a dumb posture to have, especially because there's been like 7 years plowed into this festival. So I think it was just egos that clashed.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think Bianca, people should try and meet up Bianca, and it should not just be anybody, but people who really worked with Ricky, who have Bianca's interests at heart, and who really want to see this vision, come alive again and be fulfilled, etc. I think she has to meet with these people, and they have to talk about this thing, and this thing must come back. Joy of Jazz was gone, came back now. We went to Joy of Jazz, when was it? 2022, 2023.
How long was the hiatus?
Was it not two? No, not two. Between 3 to 5 years, somewhere there.
Okay.
Yeah. But people then realize that it's bigger than us. And I think that should be the conversation right now. Cotton Fest is not an individual thing. It puts people on. It shines a spotlight on the young kids,
I think
etc.
for me, where I'm coming from is that, right? Like the whole thing of when God has a plan, he finds a man.
Yeah.
A vision belongs to a man. You understand? And now you've put these people with egos that are going to dilute the vision. You understand what I'm saying? So now it doesn't become, it's no longer that thing that puts people on. It's that thing now that just serves people who are already, who already have their own platforms, if I can put it that way. Wabo. So I think somehow those ego chats or whatever the case might be, I don't know if it's egos or what, bro. I really don't know. But whatever clashed or whatever it is that they got to a point where it's like, okay, let's close this thing. It was them realizing maybe the dilution of the vision that Ricky had with Cotton Fest. Because best you believe, if he was still around, he would have known how to navigate through these recent times. Wabo. Whether it's a new popular genre like Amapiano or whatever, he would know how to navigate the space, But I don't know. I just feel like it was just that thing, the blueprint was there, but the vision wasn't necessarily in a sense of continuing that thing. Because I can name like an event, like let's say Dream Week. If Dream Week 10 years from now, it's no longer what you know it to be. You know what I'm saying? Like as a person who's attended it like habitually, like it's your go thing. It's your thing to go to. You're not Joy of Jazz. Imagine you go to Joy of Jazz and you get the 80% of the lineup is like electro.
Yeah.
You understand? And it's like, wait, what's going on? Joy of Jazz or Kiko EDM? What? You understand? So I'm just saying it in that sense to say, Hori, it was the vision itself, the initial vision itself being sustained, or it was being diluted?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing, you know, sometimes these things will switch up all the time, especially because of, I mean, obviously trends right now. Everybody's looking at dance music. They're looking at Amapiano. Afrotech is also starting to grow a lot more. Three-step is growing a lot more. There's nothing wrong with those people being on the lineup, but they were always just seen as friends of Cotton Fest, not necessarily the main headliners.
Yeah.
And maybe that got a little bit awkward, I don't know. But whatever the case may be, whatever conversations they had in the background, it's unfortunate that it got to a point where they decided to cancel it, because clearly the arguments were that hectic that they were just like, we're not agreeing, so let's rather part ways. And you know what? I understand that. I will never ever be mad at somebody saying, to keep the peace, let's just cut it. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe somebody else will come back and speak to Bianca and then say, look, I have a vision to do it a different way. But then obviously the older shareholders need to be bought out, or they need to be dealt with. Whoever was creating the drama, then maybe that person needs to be paid out so that they don't have to get involved, and then they get a new person to kind of run it. Because essentially that's what it is. It's important to the culture, it's important to the kids, it's important for as a platform for new artists as well. So it's sad, but from a business perspective, I think I understand it. I'm not gonna be mad, but I'm sad for the children, because I think the kids really needed a space to kind of perform, you know what I mean? But you know, it is what it is.
I hope it comes back. I really hope it comes back. Certain things are needed in society, and like I said, it's bigger than people's egos. Speaking of egos, there was a meeting in Parliament. They were talking about the Matric Pass Rate. So in about 5 weeks, I think the Matric results are coming out. So a couple of weeks ago, some parties within Parliament challenged the current pass rate of 30%, and they were saying that it should go up, at least for matrics.
Yes.
That's what at least.
and it must be 50%. And I'm curious to find out what you guys think about that.
100%. I agree with that. For me personally, I didn't even understand when they dropped it to this 33%. Because I said, what are you guys pushing? What agenda are you pushing here? Because basically saying, won't come to pass regardless, just because they arrived in class by a passer. Aibo. Not like that. Because if anything, we're just degrading the values that we have as a country, and people are not going to be motivated enough to be educated. If I can walk into, and I know for them, their thinking was, okay, we're pushing these ones past so that we don't have overcrowding. No, if overcrowding is an issue, build more schools. Invest more into teaching, invest more into education, because you can't decrease the matric pass rate just because you're trying to make sure they are out, and then we can manage the grade 11s who are coming into matric. That's not solving the problem. You're creating a bigger problem, a bigger societal issue. It definitely has to be 50%. I've never understood this 33% thing, because you get to university and then your pass rate is supposed to be 50%. You are fail when you get 30%. So what's the point? What are you teaching people? That they can just skate through life.
Sure. So should it be just for the matriculants or
everybody
overall?
from grade 1?
From grade 1. As a standard, bro.
Yes.
Like I just like as a
so
country.
that now you also build yourself up to know, okay, I have to maintain 50% all the way through.
Yeah.
Even more. But I mean, that's the bare minimum.
I was gonna say, as a country that's ravished by incompetence in certain departments and all of that, that shouldn't even be a thing, bro. You know, we already have ministers that we are concerned about, or how did they obtain certain positions, and now you wanna. For me, it does feel like with the crowding situation, it does feel like very calculative in a way.
Yes.
To say, what are you saying? You just want kids out of institutions, basically, because there's no institution that's gonna kick a student that's at a 30% rate. There's no employment place that's gonna take a 30%. Which person are you gonna take at 30%? You know, 30% of the work. You know, 30% of an operation. You know, 30% of whatever that you need to do. Next thing, you deem that person incompetent, and now it's like, but whose fault is it when you set that standard for them? Yeah, not for against the 30. So you need to employ me, but now you're not gonna be able to employ those people, and it's like, matter what are we perpetuating there?
And also, would you go to a professional who you know passes 30%?
That's my thing.
You're going to a doctor now.
Yeah.
Your life is on the line.
Yeah.
But because passes 30%, he's got the qualification to be a doctor. Are you going to put your life in that person's hands?
I've literally asked friends that question, and it's like, bro.
So why are we allowing it? These people should be passing at a much higher rate. And even then, 50% is bare minimum. It's also like, okay, you understand the concept, but you're still not there yet.
Yeah. 50 should be like new zero. Like, that's like,
Yes.
it's at least where you should, that should be where your zero should be 50, and then anything beyond that, okay.
Yes. Now you're pushing.
Now
yes.
you're pushing 60, okay, 70.
And again, you're right, because it also then affects the unemployment rate. Why do you think it's skyrocketed over the years? Because the Matric Pass Rate is 33%.
Yeah.
Who's going to hire a person with that? Because obviously now it's going to make you think, that person doesn't understand concepts. They don't know how to even, I don't know, run a till or whatever the case may be. Because they haven't learned any skills.
Yeah.
They don't have any computation of what they need to do and how to think in a strategic manner. That's the whole point of school. School is about training your brain to think in a certain way. If my brain cannot think in a certain way, how am I going to then be an adult in the world and run a business? Or even be employed in a business? Now I must trust you with my business when I got 30%. I'm sorry.
30% is wild, bruh.
It's quite interesting. In a world of AI, AI has made a lot of people lazy, just by the way, and I see it at school. In fact, universities have started to allow the use of AI. UCT has scraped the entire plagiarism thing, so you can use AI. I remember we had this elective this one time, and a guy, he was part of my syndicate group. He entered class and he sat down and he took out his laptop. And during the break, he said, "You are part of the MPhil class, nah?" I'm like, "How do you know?" He's like, when he entered the class, he looked at the people on our table who were sitting with laptops open, and he knew for a fact that those people are MBA students. MBA students, how they operate, my experience with them. A professor or a lecturer would say something or pose a question, and as he does that, or as she does that, they literally type that question on ChatGPT, and they already have generic answers, right? So when I asked him, "How do you know that I'm MPhil?" He's like, "No, you didn't have a computer open, and that's how I knew." So I look at that, how people have become so dependent on AI, right? And then you have like a 30% pass rate at school. I'm like, that combination is just a disaster, in my opinion, because people are not applying themselves. Number one, when you say I must pass, got 30%, you're saying I must just do this.
I must just arrive and put my name on the paper.
That's it. I should not apply myself. I should not do anything. Yeah.
The aim is not to sweat, bro.
Sechaba.
What you guys
It's just to skate through.
just to get through.
Yeah,
But that's a what do you call it? It's a crisis, man. Like for until for me, that's why who passes these laws and things? The very people we are concerned about.
So what was the consensus in Parliament? What are they saying?
No, they lost.
Were they arguing it?
The people who were saying it must be increased lost.
They lost the argument.
Yeah.
In Parliament.
They lost the vote.
In Parliament.
Oh, they lost the. Yeah, but who's voting? That's you see.
It's the majority.
Oh, when about to vote?
That is wild.
I think the DA
Bapa
was
still
part of
up there.
that. The DA was fighting against the 30%. Can't remember who else.
That is
But the majority
wild.
of the party said nope, it must stay at 30%.
Why? What is their reasoning?
There should be a reason.
That is crazy.
Because there must be something that we don't know
no,
beyond
because
us.
bona bapasa ka
Ke yona ntho e ke
30%.
tjhong, who's-
Bona who are making this
who's making-
decisions,
who's
bona
voting?
ba faitsi ka
Because there is
30%.
no way, bruh. There is no way an intellect or a person that actually values that understands the value of education and the application of a learner or a student will say yes to 30%.
You see, this is where we need to now start petitioning that politicians need to retire at 60 like the rest of the country because they are coming with their old school Bantu education decisions and
Yeah,
it's not
but-
working for us.
Yeah, 30% is wild.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
This
it
is
was-
unbelievable.
If a subject has 30 modules, but you can know 1% of a module basically, and you'll be fine.
Nahan.
That's wow.
It was actually Musi Maimani's political party that argued for the 50% or argued against the 30%.
Ah.
Yeah. So he suggested that 30%, that the 30% threshold perpetuates low standards
100%.
and expectations and has long-lasting adverse effects on the
Yes.
futures and cognitive abilities
Yeah.
of learners. Just want to find where
100%.
That I could probably even argue to say maybe we don't have an unemployment problem, but we have a cognitive
Yes.
understanding problem that how about to buy enough but about skill.
And funny enough, they're the same people who are complaining and saying they've just got a matric certificate, they can't get into varsities,
Yeah.
no one wants to employ them.
Yeah.
Or some people will then say, okay, cool, I'm sitting at home with a diploma. Yeah, I guess I'm not in busy, I'm at 30%. That's
Yeah.
why you're sitting at home, unemployable. Because
That's
the rates are low,
crazy.
the cognitive thinking is low, the strategic thinking is low. No one's going to hire you and trust you with their business if strategically you cannot think.
Yep. It says, as things stand, only 47% of learners achieved a bachelor's pass, and fewer than 15% of these enroll in university education.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Bachelor's pass ke yona eo ya di 30%.
Bachelor's party, I get it now. You add the whatever you get in terms of percentage. There's another number. Like if you get a 60, I think that's like a 4. What do
Yeah.
you call that? That scale. So bachelor's pass is when you add those numbers. If it gets to I think 30
Oh, 30, yeah.
and above,
Oh.
then you get you pass with the bachelor. So only 47% of and how many matric learners do we have per year? 1 point something million.
That's crazy. It's unbelievable. It makes me so sad. And you know, the sad part about all of these things is that you have now households where people are so worried about the education system and what they're actually being taught and how they're being just just to say, okay, you guys can pass because
Yeah.
I need you out of my class. So much so that now I'm even losing faith in the public education system. And now you'll find that a lot of parents are stressing themselves to ensure their kids are in private school just so that they can get better education.
Yeah.
And financially, that's obviously going to become a
Strenuous,
stressor.
yeah.
And it's going to create so many other issues. And Musi Mamani is right. It's a long-term effect on this thing. It's not only affecting the kids, it's also affecting the parents. It's affecting society as a whole.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't understand this 30% thing.
Also, not everybody. I mean, when Tanyiko, my younger brother, he was at St. John's. School fees there is what I pay for my master's
Yeah.
in 19 months. School fees for the year. Which parent, can afford to pay that every year until the child is
Exactly.
done with school? That's 5 years.
What kind of first grade 8 if it?
Bitch.
There's no other way. There's no other way.
Yeah,
bro.
Nesfas, I think you need to realign
Yeah.
with your criteria. We
Yeah.
need to start in private school now because, wow.
That's whack.
I know,
it's,
kunzima.
it's quite wild, guys. So yeah, we'll see. Hey, Tatan, we'll see what happens. But I doubt it's going to change.
If they were already shut down in Parliament, I don't know. That's why I'm saying these old guys need to retire. They need to get out of those seats. We need younger people in government.
I doubt it's going to change. I want to play you guys something.
Okay.
But we're going to need our headphones for this. There's a lady. She's saying that any guy, and I know you're single, Cosmo. So I'm really interested to find out what your thoughts are on this. She said, if a man wants to take me on a date moving forward, I now require a $100 refundable deposit. Let me play this. One second.
You're sending it.
No, I'm going to play it. I have it here.
Oh.
Play it via YouTube. Bluetooth, sorry.
If a man wants to take me on a date moving forward, I now require a $100 refundable deposit on a date. Hear me out. Man makes reservation, wants to take me out. Wonderful, no problem. Gets there early. Okay, kudos for him. He calls me and says, I've made a mistake. Sir, what is the mistake that you've made? He says, I can't get in because I don't meet the dress code requirement. I say, well, what are you wearing? Because look at me. What? Okay, I'll see you in a moment. I'll be there in a couple minutes. He goes, yeah, I forgot they had a dress code. You made the reservation. You said you've been here before. And you put on a jogging suit for a first date, mind you. Do people not try to put their best foot forward anymore? And don't get me wrong. If you wanted something casual, sir, you should have said meet me at Starbucks or Chipotle. I love a good bow. I would have showed up in my leggings, the worn out ones, oversized t-shirt, and some New Balance. So you will be paying, a man will be paying a $100 deposit if you want to take me on a date. If you show up and you can do the little bitty things like get in the establishment for the reservation you made, your $100 will be fully refunded before we leave the establishment, okay? Let's be clear on this before y'all hop on Beyonce's internet and say I'm looking for money. No, I have my own coins. But it's not every day that a woman spends $170 for a beat like this. Can we get into it? She ate with that one. Okay, but stay focused here, okay? Yeah, naturally, a woman's going to do her own little 1-2 step on her everyday things. But to pay $170 for makeup for a date means I'm looking good for your enjoyment, for myself first, and for you to enjoy as well. Nails, pedicure, that's stuff I'm going to do on a regular. If I'm sitting in the house bed rotting, I'm still going to look good, okay? That's not a man's responsibility. Let's be clear on that, ladies, okay? But to pay $170 for makeup, and you can't get in the established. Oh, but don't you worry, ladies and gentlemen. I went in and enjoyed myself. It was a great time. Sushi, chef's kiss. Had myself a French 75. Had some great conversations with the gentleman next to me at the bar. So no problem there. And the makeup will not be wasted because I have a date in a few hours with a man that is always dressed apart and he got a beard.
And he got a
Also, it's my birthday weekend, so let the birthday shenanigans commence, and maybe later on a little hooting and hollering.
She's very problematic, this one.
Problematic how?
No, I think it's in her execution. I think what she's saying is so valid. I think it's valid.
Okay, so
Thoughts?
firstly, that won't fly in South Africa. Unfortunately, our men are a little bit too. I mean, like, look, men will send their fair share of e-wallets, but they need to know who they're sending an e-wallet to and how. So it can't be on the first date, unfortunately. I do agree with her, though, with regards to the amount of time and effort that is spent into looking a certain way as a female. We do so much more to arrive than men do. And that's on a regular basis. I mean, for me, it's different. Obviously, I do it for my job, but just in general,
Yeah.
I've also got friends of mine who actually go the whole nine. Maybe they're not paying for their makeup for the day, but hair, nails, outfit, I need to look a certain way. If I'm going to show up for a date, I need you to at least also do the same. Give me the same effort. There's many times where I've seen guys who are just arriving in their tracksuit pants, they've been sleeping the whole day, and they remembered, oh, damn, I have to be somewhere at 6 p.m. And it's like, did you like
Make an effort.
are you just arriving on the auspices that just because you're a man and you're gonna pay for dinner, then I must come home with you? No, that's not how it works. And unfortunately, with the dating scene, it's become extremely worse.
Yeah.
So I agree on principle about needing a refund because of how much effort that women put into looking good for the date. And if you're not gonna make the effort, I'll wash him. You're not getting your money back.
Hectic.
You know, I said that's what I'm saying. In principle, I
Yeah.
agree with her, but I know it's not feasible in South Africa, unfortunately.
Yeah, 100%. No, look, if, I actually want to ask, how would you feel if a guy rocked up wearing a soccer jersey at a date?
Oh no, bye bye. Oh no.
Any
No.
date or first date?
No, just even if you're still schmoozing me and you're still courting me, make the effort because I'm gonna make the effort. I'm gonna show up nice. It might be the second date, might be the third date. I'm still gonna make an effort. I'm gonna come in my heels. I'm gonna come in a dress. I'm gonna do my hair. I'm gonna do my makeup. I'm gonna make sure that I'm sealing the deal. We can get a little bit more comfortable maybe later.
But also, I guess it depends on where we're going.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So also once we've become comfortable with each other, generally the comfortability comes after a little bit of physical action. Then generally that's when the things kind of, slow down a bit. But it's also not to say that it's never gonna come back again.
Yeah.
Like maybe we'll get more casual after a couple of dates. But there will be times where we will say, okay, cool, let's go check out a restaurant. Even at that restaurant, I'm still going to make an effort because I'm outside and I want you to see me looking good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a difference between going, like she said, there's a difference with going to Nando's and KFC and going to a 5-star restaurant.
I get you.
Do you know
Alright.
what I mean?
Yeah. For me, I don't denounce the fact that everybody has to put the effort on a date. But to my question, that the whole soccer jersey thing, I know it's a problem.
I hate that thing.
I
And
know
check
it's a
depends.
Maram feto, Majita, I feel that. You
No.
understand? Because listen to what I'm saying. Like, he's looking clean. You can see. Like, this guy went on and got a fresh cut. Yeah, that's how they're looking squeaky clean. I don't know if he's wearing chinos or jeans or whatever he's wearing. And then I want to skip aside Simon seat.
No, thank you.
Hectic.
Not
Because my thing
happening.
is then, what is the effort? Because for me, it's like he has already put in the effort there, no, Abo?
It's the same thing as you saying to me, just because I come clean, wearing a t-shirt and jeans and sneakers.
No, but you see, that's the thing.
No, but it's the same idea because
Okay.
as men, and everyone always says this, men are visual creatures, right?
Yeah.
So as a female, I'm going to try and come in my feminine. I'm going to get my hair done. I'm going to do my nails. I'm going to do my makeup. I'm going to come in a dress
Yeah.
so that you can see the curves and see the body and see the everything. I have the option to either wear a dress, makeup and hair, or I also have the option to not wear makeup, come in sneakers, a t-shirt. Are you going to see me as somebody that you find attractive? No, you're going to see me as your little sister. So the same conversation then comes to you, where if you're going to come in your soccer jersey, you're not putting in an effort. Wear a shirt, wear a t-shirt, at least look like you're trying to look good for the date. A soccer t-shirt is not looking good. Sorry. Because when you leave there, then you're going to go to the bar with your friends and go and grab a beer. Sorry.
Sech, I have a question for you.
No.
Do you think women break rules for the men they like only?
Say that again. Sorry.
Do you think women break the rules for the men they like only?
I do.
Sometimes, yes.
Yeah,
I
100%.
agree with that.
Yeah, definitely.
But also, they only break rules to a certain extent.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm breaking all of my rules.
So it's never going to be with a soccer jersey.
No, because everybody's got their limits.
Mara, if woman
there's some women.
My point exactly.
There's some women who will accept it, and then there's
Yeah.
other women. And if they do accept it, they're accepting it because maybe holistically the guy is a good guy. But then they will then mention to say,
Yeah.
this one, can you try a little harder? Maybe
Yeah.
next time. Ube smartinyana.
Yeah.
Take the hint, bro.
Yeah. Now I hear you. For me, I'm just coming from that because I know who Ronala Majitelo ring ne. It's not even a thing. Like I'm trying to piss this girl off or
100%.
whatever. His style is high, wabo. And it came to he's really put the effort. That's what I'm talking about. Cutting the hair, shoes, whatnot. And for me, it's really not the same when you say you're wearing a nice dress and whatever the case might be, because by that assumption, you're already assuming that that's what guys like to see. I don't think that clarity is clear kamajita to say this is what women would like to see visually.
But you know,
You
do
understand?
you know what also the implication also comes in with a soccer jersey? And it's all a visual thing at the end of the day. You don't realize it, but these are the triggers that you're sending to me. Men generally only watch soccer with their friends. Am I your friend?
But that's not the thinking.
But
No, but
Mara,
that's what I'm
behind
saying.
Mara,
I'm
because
saying,
wearing
I'm saying,
that.
I'm saying that is the visual,
Okay, I get
the
you.
visual implication that you are giving me as
Okay.
a female. Do you know
Okay.
what I mean? So wear that when you go to the bar with your boys, when you're gonna go watch a game. By all means, I have no issue with a soccer jersey in the position where
Yeah.
you're gonna go be with your boys.
Yeah.
By all means, wear your soccer jersey and do what you want.
Yeah.
Nah. It's saying when you're trying to convince me
to like me.
to like you.
Because you know where I'm coming
That's
from.
not happening.
But if we are already dating, and I say
Okay,
to you,
yeah,
babe,
that's different.
let's go to a Kailami Shisanyama. Let's go get food.
Yeah,
Is that
because
fine?
it's a shisanyama. It's
Okay.
comfortable, it's casual,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And we already know each other, we're comfortable with each other. By all means, yes, that's fine. But if we're gonna go to a 5-star restaurant, you better leave the chairs at home.
No, me, I get you, honestly. I was going to say, Wabana, if you look at let's say a guy that you know, like he dresses up for any and everything. I'm just going to use like maybe, I don't know who I can use. Maps. Let's say he's always suited up, not suited per se, but that clean formal look, whatever the case. If he rocks up at a date wearing a soccer jersey, I understand. For ne mara wabona lo ena choose. We know that you can dress up. We know that you are that guy, or whatever the case might be. Or maybe let's say he's not a famous person, he's not a famous figure. Like it's someone that, but you know this guy. Now that man already he dresses clean or whatever the case. Then he comes up with the soccer jersey. Then I feel like you are validated in saying, Mara, majita amang petu, get drip ya bona. Like for them, they are genuinely maybe hey Harry, it's not your
No,
type.
figure out a different trip, my brother. I'm telling you for free.
That is not your type.
And no,
Look,
it's got nothing to do with type. It's got everything to do with effort.
I'll play
Because
devil's advocate.
I've made the effort to look attractive to you.
So I get
Make
that.
the effort.
If we go into a 5-star, yeah, jersey, Emanya. If I'm still trying to woo you,
Yeah.
like I get it. Like I get it. Let me make effort. Yeah.
That is effort. What are you saying?
What is
I
That's
feel
effort?
like
not effort.
le denounce affect ya gore mjita ha kentse jersey ya
No,
Liverpool.
Sech,
I said,
not at
what
a
do you mean? I said,
5-star.
No,
Not
and
at a
also
5-star.
not on a
dog.
date. Please don't
Not
do
at
that.
not at a 5-star.
No, I'm sorry.
Apareng, eh?
No, he can wear a black t-shirt. He can even wear a plain black t-shirt.
Okay.
I will accept that better
Not
than a
at a
soccer
5-star.
jersey.
You're okay. That I'll take.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that I'll take.
I would accept a plain black t-shirt
And
much
shorts.
sooner.
Yeah.
Relax. Calm down now. How far now? No. I will.
Me just trying to talk for the Brewers. It's not working.
No.
I-
And the thing is, you know this. You're just being snacks for no reason. But
No.
you know that's not what you're supposed to do.
No,
On a
me,
first date,
I wouldn't do it.
on a first date. And the thing is, you don't even have to be a fashionista.
Yeah.
It really just has to be about trying to at least put your best foot forward. You're not putting your best foot forward by coming in shorts and by wearing a soccer jersey.
Yeah.
Your best foot forward could easily be a plain black t-shirt,
Nah,
chinos,
hey.
and a nice shoe.
Yeah.
Even if you're wearing all black, you still look
Presentable and clean, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
100%.
You don't have to be.
So, fetuje mjala, how na jersey Arsenal?
Yeah, you don't have to be fashion week, but leave the jersey at home, bro.
No,
Oh,
Arsenal
hey, go
jersey.
to Brendan.
Nah, I know like girls who've been like turned off heavily by that thing, bro.
Yeah. Have you seen like that popping game or
The what?
show, the balloon popping show?
Oh,
Yeah. Oftentimes, like a guy would walk into the room, and then the ladies would start to pop.
Yeah.
And then the host will ask, "Why did you pop the balloon?" It's the drip.
Yes,
It's
'Cause
but
I
it's like
answered.
no. It's like it's the drip.
because he's supposed to put his best foot forward.
Okay, but I'm
And
not
then-
on a date with you though.
No, but that's got nothing to do with it because you're coming there because at the end
You're
of the
tryna-
day,
you're tryna woo someone.
as human beings, we're all visual creatures. I don't care how you want to denounce it and break it apart. Every single human being here is a visual creature, and at some point, we've got a sense of bushelo because you want to be attracted to that person.
I do
So
think-
if I look at you and I don't think you are attractive to me because your whole look doesn't speak to me,
Yeah.
I'm gonna pop the balloon.
And then they start talking, and then they want the balloons back.
So I was about to say, I do think that we should take it with a pinch of salt. Because you might get a classic man who's always swagged up,
Yeah, like clean.
but has a terrible personality, has terrible values, is not even principled, etc. So I don't think one's dress code should be like the determining
I
factor.
understand that, and I
think
hear
she's
you.
it.
Dress code is not the determining factor. However, you are on a
That's
show
our effort.
where you need to put your best foot forward because you know very well that people are looking at you visually first
Yeah.
before they interact with you.
Yeah.
Just like even if you're at a bar or you're at a club or you're at a restaurant and then you say, hey, can I talk to you? That girl is going to size you up first. I'll shop it up and down before she says yes or no.
100%.
It's happening in every situation. It's got nothing to do with the TV show.
Yeah.
I'm going to look at you and say, okay, maybe there's something. We all do this. Please, I need people to stop acting like we are holier than thou. We're not. Everybody is a visual creature. When you're looking at your person, you want to say, every time I look at you, I'm happy to talk to you
Yeah.
because I'm attracted to the person that is sitting across the table from me. And our attractions are different. And that's what makes it unique about human beings. Yes, but at the end of the day, love is in the eye of the beholder. My eyes are saying no, so is a no.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Water, you. Oh, there.
Here's some water here if you want water. Guys, it's almost 2025, 2026. Do you guys do resolutions?
I gave up on those because I always cancel them.
Seth, do you do resolutions?
I mean, I don't, bruh. I don't. If I'm being honest, I don't. Like I said, for me, next year, next month, Wabo, I do have that. I do take on the privilege of it being the start of something, the same way I take on the start of a new day, the start of a new week, the start of a new year, Wabo. But not in that sense, yeah. Yeah, no, I don't. Bruh.
You don't do that.
No, I don't.
Nah, I'm also like with New Year's resolutions, I used to make them and then I realized I don't keep them. So now what I've decided to do is rather give myself a set of plans and goals.
Yeah.
And then I say, okay, cool, I need to achieve this by a certain time or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's what I rather than do for myself. It's not necessarily to say that I have a resolution
Yeah.
to be, I don't know, to quit drinking for the year or to stop. I don't do those things. If anything, I'm aware of the fact that I enjoy a good time. What I'll do rather is give myself breaks.
Yeah.
And I'll say, okay, cool, let me give myself a break for 2 months, 3 months. That's at least for me a step in the right direction
Yeah.
because I know I won't be able to let it go completely.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I definitely believe in goals though. That I do. Like I set goals for myself all the time.
Got you.
Yeah.
What I do is I have a 12-week year. So I have four years in 1 year. So you see here it says, this was on the 7th of December.
Yeah.
It says end of my 12th week year.
Yeah.
So every 12 weeks, I have a new year. It's a new year for me. And what I do is I set like a big goal that I'll then focus on working on
For those
for
12.
those 12 weeks.
I hear you.
I like
and then
that.
there'll be like either other minor stuff that I'll do like in between. And then once this is done, then I have a new year,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
12 weeks,
Yeah.
until I get to the end of the year.
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
dope. I actually
Yeah.
like that concept. That's
That's
very
Yeah,
really
but
nice.
the resolutions, nah, man.
Yeah. Because for me, I just felt to a certain point in my life that my resolutions were my excuses. You understand? I'd be like, nah, from next year I'm gonna start doing it. And I'm like, no, why am I not doing it now? It felt like I'm excusing myself from actually participating right now. You get what I'm saying? That's why I was like, no, that's why Kering, I cherish the whole idea of a new year the same way I cherish it's a new day, it's a new week, it's a new month, it's a new year, sharp. And then what? You understand? So, but when it comes to goals though, goals is where, that's why also I like the 12-week situation because it then kind of actually compartmentalize
Yes.
it more in a better sense. Yeah, no, that's dope. I think I should try doing that.
But also, it's like you set these goals for yourself, and then mid-year, they're here at the back of your head, because you take up too much, and then things happen, during the course of the year, and it's like then you don't pay too much attention to these things, and it's like, oh, just stop setting New Year's resolutions. Just like set goals.
Yeah.
This is a in this period, I want to achieve this goal. And you focus on that. Because I can tell you, people will set this big goal. The time it hits June, you ask them, hey man, how's it going?
Tricky.
You know what I mean? So this is something that I do. I also roped my wife into it. I roped my home style into it as well, and this is what we do.
I like that concept also because it gives you a timeline as to when certain things need to be complete. I'm actually going to try that for next year. I like that. I really like the idea because then it says, okay, cool, for 12 weeks, focus on, because also sometimes we try to do too many things at once.
Yeah.
So at least you focus, say, okay, in this 12 weeks, I'm focusing on this one thing. The next 12 weeks, I'll focus on the next thing and the next thing. So that it spreads out, but also you give 100% of your attention onto that thing. Because I think also us giving 10% attention to 10 different things, we're never going to finish anything.
Yeah.
So from a goal achievement perspective, it's really dope.
I mean, I used to write. Well, I don't know if they were resolutions. So I would write, for instance, I'd write my goals in present tense, and I'd put a date to say, okay, by 17 April, which is my birthday, I would have saved so much money. But I write it in like present tense. So that's how I used to do it like before. And then it used to work, but I think I used to write so many things down. And yeah, some of them I like just forget about them or ostracize them. And then I got into this, and this works beautifully.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm actually going to try it out because I actually think it's really dope. Yeah. Talking about goal achievement also, shout outs to you for winning a radio award.
Oh, yes.
Hi FM.
You know I have these things here, right?
That should be a next goal.
You see?
Next goal must be, okay.
I was about to say, how did you win station imaging? You don't have imaging on the podcast.
It's 30%.
Yeah, okay, 33%. Plus say half. Congratulations for station imaging, Kaya 959.
Kaya 959.
You know, goal achieved 2025.
Sure. I think that was the biggest award that I wanted.
That's dope.
I think what I posted was I've been there for 4 years, and I got nominated for it 3 times. Won it last year, and then won it again like this past weekend. And you know, we do things oftentimes and we wonder, like, am I actually making an impact? You know, and just to get like that award, I think for me it's like, hey, keep on doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not that when we do things we want like the reward, because then you base your life on that. So if you don't get the award, then what? Or the reward, then what happens? Does your life fall apart suddenly? But it's always nice to get that recognition to say, hey, what you're doing is fruitful. So yeah, thank you for that.
Shout outs, well done.
And hopefully Kaya will give me more money, right?
For these awards. Bonus, Nyana, Christmas.
Guys, you know we've never gotten bonuses. Have you gotten a bonus?
I have, when I used to work at EBSA.
Yes.
I've never gotten a bonus, bro. Ever.
Really?
Nah.
No.
Never.
You know what I treat as a
what it
bonus?
feels like.
I treat my tax returns
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I get
as a
you.
bonus.
Yeah.
There you go.
But apart from that, I've never. Like, people talk about bonuses. You know, my wife works at a bank.
Yeah.
Cosmo, she would know this. Dude, they get like a ton of money.
Yeah, but that's also if the department makes the money. Because sometimes there's some departments that don't have budget for bonuses because the business didn't make money. So you only make a bonus if you've actually taken the business to the next level. So if you as a business unit are saying our goal for the year is 500,000 and you guys make $1 million, then they say, we made a profit. Everybody gets a little something. But if your business unit does not succeed, you're not getting bonuses that year.
It's wild. I have a friend who works at a bank. One day he calls me and he tells me how much he's getting as a bonus. Guys, my jaw dropped.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah, people in corporate can get a lot of money.
Yeah, they can. 100%.
As we close off, Casper Nyuvest had an event.
Fill up.
Yes, in your guys' town.
Yeah.
Yes.
Toyota.
Yeah, he did 30,000, I think.
30,500.
and during the concert, he then made the big reveal, the announcement, his wife pregnant, etc. And somebody saw that on X, and somebody then touched on the reveal, the announcement, and they said, the worst pain is not heartbreak. It's realizing the man who shattered you had the power to love fully, to be loyal, to show up with intention, and he never did it for you. Not when you were running between hospital visits, terrified, while his child fought for his life. He always had that better version inside of him. But he saved it for the woman he cheated with. And that's the cruelest truth of all. Have you ever thought to yourself, what does this girl have that I don't have?
All the time. I was actually going to ask you guys this earlier on. You know, when he had mentioned his Spotify Wrapped, he said his love life was the best part of his year. I actually wanted to ask you guys, Gutsi, what makes you decide this person is the one? Because you guys have both gotten married, right? You've dated different girls in the past,
Sure.
but then you've decided, Gutsi, no, this one, Kinyala O. Because there's plenty of times as women where we sit back and we think we're putting ourselves forward, we think we're doing the right thing, and then a man just does not show up for you. But then you'll be with this person and he'll treat you like garbage for like 2 years. And then you'll break up because you're just like, I can't do this anymore. 6 months later, he's getting married. And you're like...
Sure.
Yeah, I hear you.
So what makes you guys sit back and say, this is the person?
I said you go.
What do you mean? You got married before him?
Yeah, actually, let's hear you.
My goodness. And it's interesting that we actually started dating our girls the same year. Married the same year as well. I think for me, I've always said the person I'm gonna marry has to be like that, and that's the top of the list. They have to be kind. Like like kindness for me was like the top trait, right? But outside of that, I think how Lala and I met. Lala and I were serving in the same department in church for like the longest of time, and we never saw each other. You know, we never saw each other. In fact, there's a picture. I know Sech would not like me to project that picture because we look super young there. But we went out for the social, and then after the social, we took a picture. And I was in the picture. Lala was in the picture. Never saw this girl. Until 2022, it was the 19th of June, backstage. I remember I was doing something on stage, and I went behind backstage, and she was crying. And so I then stopped. I'm like, yo, like, why are you crying? What's wrong? And then we had a chat. And then after that, it's like my eyes then opened. Then I started seeing this woman, you know. And it's just like how everything happened. I didn't waste time. Like, we met June. In August, we went for a date. It was after a prayer evening, I remember. And it's what I said to her that day. I'd never, ever been that direct with a woman. Like, I told her my intentions. These are my intentions. Like, okay, this is quite different. Why am I talking to this girl like this? Right? And I think I just started seeing like clearly and clearly with her, or clearer and clearer with her. And I just had unction that, hey, this is your girl. And I remember I was with him. His name is Vose. We were in Alex when I got the unction about marriage. And I called my dad and I said, listen, I need to come see you this coming Sunday. And then after church, I went to go see him. And I said, listen, I think I want to marry this lady. And the rest is history. So I think kindness, she's a very sweet girl. But I think the circumstances around how we met were very telling. And I could not ignore them. Yeah. So I guess I discerned cause. Yeah, it was discerned.
Yeah, like, I think I need the loom.
We're not. guy just came back from his honeymoon. He can't even talk about why.
I'm joking, man. I'll be honest with you. I think I shared this also when we were having our celebration, and I said I was not that guy who grew up with that desire to get married. Babo, yo, I can't wait to get married. I've thought about it as a structure in my life, babo, but it was never really like a thing. And then in my previous relationship, like this is just me being honest. In my previous relationship, that's when I actually started entertaining the idea of actually marriage and all of that or whatever, because I was also like transitioning like into the professional world, like I was starting to take care of a lot of things. So even the concept or the institution of marriage started appealing to me, wabo. But I knew, man, for no, it's not gonna transpire with this person. And once that reality became apparent to me, I had a conversation with her.
So how did you know that it wasn't gonna happen with her?
Like like there were just things that were not connecting on a more preference and a more desirable level. Like there were just things, and I couldn't put a finger to it. Like I feel like I can't even communicate. Mara,
but then you dated this person for a while. Are you telling me you didn't pick those things up until?
No, that's my biggest thing with my previous one, and that's why getting the biggest recognition was when I was transitioning into, because we were still in school.
Okay.
So transition. That's another thing that I have I don't know how to say it, Mara. Like be careful of Ntutabo high school sweetheart or like loving young or whatever, because once the realities of life start transpiring, you don't know how this person is gonna react or you yourself, wabo. So for me, once those things started coming in and shaping my perspectives and all of that, that's when. And I had a conversation. It's not like I was like, you know what, bye. Nah, it wasn't. It was an honest conversation, and I told them like this and this. Ababu Weli, like where she stands, and it kind of made sense. So after that whole thing, after breaking up with her, like in that season of being single, I knew for a fact the next person I'm gonna be with is the one that I'm gonna be able to wabo. So it's not like immediately after her. No, like I still like went on 2 dates or something, but I didn't get into a relationship.
Yeah.
But with her, after like, bruh, it was just that, like it was just like that feeling of, I don't want to use this, but it was.
Yeah,
it was there.
I get it.
It was there. Like
So you actually you are solidifying a concept that I heard on social media, and it might not be the same for everybody. I mean, I get that, but your point of saying you broke up with your ex and you knew that the next person you would date you would marry. Somebody had said, "Guti, men marry the person who they are with when they are ready to get married." So it could be you meet someone tomorrow and you'll be like, Mina, I'm ready for marriage. Do you want to rock this thing? Okay, let's go. Because that's how most men think, or that's the idea that they've put out onto this page, is that if mentally you are in a position where you're saying, okay, I'm ready for the next step, then you will then marry the person you're either with at that point, or you'll break up with them like you did.
Yeah.
Because you dated her for long enough and then you're like, okay, I'm ready for marriage. And then you looked at her and you were like, but she's not the one who's marriage material. So, put aside, maybe the next person will be the right person. And then she was, and you married her. And it's so strange for us as women to think of that concept, because we're such emotional beings. We think we're pouring ourselves into you so that you can eventually see us as the marriage type. But you don't communicate that, but you don't do this, you don't do that, what, I don't see you as a wife. So now, people like her who posted that thing to say, she thought she was doing all the right things, Casper didn't communicate all the things that he needed from her. Obviously moved on, found a better person. He's now married, he's now happy, he's now having the next stage of his life.
Well, we hope he's happy.
Well, that's the assumption.
Because somebody said once that child sneezes, he's out, he's gone. So it's like,
I'm not going to feed into that. At the end of the day, I'm talking about the concept of being ready. So he got married when he was ready to get married, but he was not ready to marry.
And she was ready.
And she was ready, but he wasn't ready.
Oh, okay.
Whereas you were ready to get married, but not to get married to your ex-girlfriend.
No. You see, that's one side of it. She was also not ready. That's the conversation. I don't know I don't know much about the other dynamic yabo case,
Yeah.
but with that's why getting with us that conversation, it was to clear that out to say for it.
That you weren't on the same page.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, you understand.
But I think for me, it's just more so raising that concept. Yoguti, women will do all they want. Like, women are ready to get married from the get-go, from age 18.
I don't think so.
I'm telling you.
You know what? Let me tell you what. I had been ready. I'd been ready to get married before Lala. The lady I dated, she was not about that. She was not about marriage. She was not about having children. But it's very interesting because I'm like, I never asked these questions. I only asked these questions like at a later stage.
Yeah.
And we were already like 2 years into the relationship. It was such a
Lala?
No, the lady I dated before Lala. It was such a healthy relationship
Yeah.
that even when we decided to break up, it was never, hey, you did something, I
Yeah.
did something. It was a thing, Yauri, she doesn't want this. She doesn't want children. She doesn't want, and I didn't want to convince somebody.
Yeah, you can't though.
Yeah.
Because remember, like a couple of episodes ago, we were speaking about Steph Curry's wife, who's now saying, hey, this guy doesn't care about me. I never said I wanted children. But it's like, you have 3-4 children. Like, what is that about? Like, it doesn't make sense. So I didn't want to be in a position where I would have to convince somebody that, hey, let's get married. Or, hey, let's have children. I've publicly said it, that I'm a broody guy. It's just that we're waiting for certain things to pass by, school being the biggest one, and then we'll start a family, right? But I didn't want to have to like convince somebody.
100%.
So I had been ready to get
100%.
married prior to meeting my wife. So I think it's very nuanced. You know, you have the inverse of what you're saying, which is what happened with me. It's quite interesting, your situation, but I also hear you when you say like women are ready, like women want.
Generally
'Cause, you know-
speaking, I will say generally speaking, as society goes, generally speaking, most human beings are ready for marriage, or they want it eventually, right? But then I think for some people it just depends on the timing of life. Just like you guys are saying, Guti, you needed to get certain things right first before you can take the next step. You're ready for kids, you just want to prepare your life first before you can do it. I want children, I want marriage, I want the commitment. But I prioritize my career because that was what was important to me first.
Yeah.
Before I can then say, okay, I'm ready to hang up my headphones and be a housewife. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's also an important factor to then also consider, that maybe it's not to say that some people don't want it completely, and that's fine because that's their decision. But generally speaking, people do want it. It's just a matter of timing.
A question that I want to throw in is, should everyone get married? I know it's statistically not possible.
I don't think so. I think marriage is not for everybody, and I'm okay with that idea.
100%. You see, and
Marriage is not for everybody.
I'm there all the way, bro. And with what Cosmo is saying is that, in my experience at least, or what I've seen, is that a lot of women want for it, think they want it, but they're not necessarily ready for it. You get it? And for me, that's where...
So it's the idea.
The idea, a lot of women like the idea of it. You know what I'm saying? And it's actually when you start practicalizing it that it's like, ish, nah, maybe not.
But I also think conversations need to happen.
Yeah.
You sit with a partner when you're dating.
Yeah.
Because remember, you must date first before you get married. You don't just jump into marriage. You have these conversations. You ask yourself, what is your idea of the next 5 years?
Yeah.
How are you as a partner? How do you show up for the person? Whatever. You see all these behaviors within the relationship, so that you know when you do eventually marry this person, you've got a glimpse of
100%.
of where you're going. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
There's no way you're
I
going
agree.
in blindly to be like, oh, I'm ready, you're ready, let's rock. No, because people change. Human beings change. We evolve with time. At some point, what I want today might not be what I want to have next year.
100%.
But then you also then decide to yourself, okay, how are we meeting each other halfway? Are you a person of compromise? Because relationships need compromise. If you're not compromising and you want to be selfish, then marriage is not for you. There's nothing wrong with being alone.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with just hitting the streets every night and then going home. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But don't force somebody into a marriage because you think it's what you have to do.
Yeah.
You know what I
I
mean?
genuinely agree with that.
I think for me, as we close, as we wrap up, right? If you ever wondered what marriage looks like, what I'm about to read sums it up. It says, no one tells you how many versions of your marriage you'll live through. The newlywed version, the exhausted new parent version, the ships passing in the night version, the we're both stressed but trying version, the one person is thriving and the other is struggling version, and the version where you finally find each other again. And then this person talks about how him and his wife have learned that long-term relationships are not straight, steady lines, that they are seasons. The trick they've learned is not avoiding the hard ones. It's finding ways, big and small, to prioritize each other. I think it's really about that at the end of the day. Because you will go through like these seasons.
Yeah.
But it's just finding each other and prioritizing each other.
100%.
Yeah. I think you will get married next year.
I believe it as well.
Next year.
Oh.
You? 12
to
weeks.
my blind dates.
12
You know, Mary,
12 weeks.
Mary gave birth, Mary, the mother of Jesus, she gave birth skipping steps. Right? So I believe that you're also going to skip a lot of steps.
I mean, I'm the same person who believes in going to a sperm bank and doing the baby thing by myself. So,
we want to be uncles.
You'll still be an uncle.
the uncle to to whoever I find at the IVF station.
Yeah.
But you know what? No, I believe in it. I think my time will come when it comes. I'm waiting for God to do what He needs to do. And, you know, one thing I don't believe in is forcing things. I don't want to be in a relationship for the sake of a relationship.
100%.
So when that person, the right person comes and it's meant to be, then it will be.
Okay.
And talk, man. Talk. You know, like for me, it's like talk. In the relationship, talk, bruh.
Yeah.
It's also okay to leave a relationship that's no longer
Serving
Yes.
serving you. You know what I'm saying? Like if
Yeah.
we have that conversation and it's kinda what drag to for another time they've been dating for 12 years.
Yeah.
And it's like can't the intention in
Wetala.
so
I
so
saw
important,
I saw a post about
and
how
then next thing they break up.
yeah.
At 12 months he marries the other girl and it's like
Yes.
meeting
You see.
the other girl. You
So I think it's readiness, it's communication, it's you guys also deciding what works for you right now, what doesn't work. There's nothing wrong with breaking up and continuing with the
100%.
next person. I saw someone posted the other day, but see, I think Kyla Pratt has been engaged to her boyfriend for 20 years. I was just like,
Kyla Pratt, love yourself, man.
20 years, my baby.
It's time there.
Full on engagement.
time
No
then.
marriage, no nothing.
Isn't
But
that
I
what
mean,
Kendrick
it
is
works.
doing?
It works for them, so let them do it. Huh?
I think Kendrick is doing the same thing.
Aye, it's tricky.
Oh, well. Anyway.
But yeah, gentlemen, it's been a good 2025.
Yeah. See in 2020.
100%. I think Cosmo, Brandon was asking that you close off for us.
Yeah, man. Thank you to Self-Cav for firstly accepting me and Sechaba because we weren't part of it last year. We are now part of it this year. So shout outs to Thabang and the
Self-Cav.
team. Yeah, I guess please be safe on the roads. Enjoy the festive season. Have a great time, but also if you can use e-hailing services to get wherever you're going. Be safe, and we'll see you in the new year. And shout outs to everybody. Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas. To, 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 to. Ho, ho, ho. Cheers.
Who's crazy?